What's up, y'all? Kyle Hamilton here. I want to give a quick shout out to Lucas, Connor, and Ryan in the Week 0 podcast.
Jackson rolling out, 3rd and 7 after the penalty, and it's a completion to Kuma. He's still running. Kuma breaks free against a tired defense as the Hokies deliver the dagger here in Tallahassee. Empty look for Richardson. Oh, that is danger! Oh my! Keidron Smith cuts inside, and he's gonna pick six it in the swamp. Cat scratch fever Smith.
DJ is picked off, intercepted again by Benjamin Morrison. Here goes Morrison down the sideline. Can he go? Yes, he can. Touchdown, pick six, Benjamin Morrison. Nix drops back underneath. Touchdown, Ducks. Wow. Chase Porter.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of The Gold Standard. I am your host, Ryan Fravel. To my right or my left, whatever is on your screen right now, I can't do it. It's backwards. Is my co-host, Sean, at ND Forever on Twitter. Sean, it's finally game week. How are we feeling, man?
Ooh, I'm excited. It can't come fast enough. I'm ready to watch Storm Ireland. It's finally here, and I'm glad we're week 0. Like, it'd be longer if we weren't week 0, so I'm kind of glad we're week 0. But it's already football season, isn't it crazy? So I'm excited.
It's insane. I mean, hey, week 0 on week 0 Productions. Hey, man, it's a good time. Always a good time. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it, Sean, real quick. We'll go over this. I'll play a little game. Buy or sell. So for people that are into Notre Dame recruiting, On Three's Blue and Gold insider, Mike Singer.
Mike the Daddy Singer
came out with 6 new predictions for Notre Dame to land some elite prospects. So the first of which we'll talk about right now is Ivan Taylor, son of former NFL corner Ike Taylor. So, Sean, are you buying or selling this prediction?
Like, buying if he's going to go to Notre Dame, or buying how he is as a player on the field?
Both.
I'd say, okay. Prediction, I say buying as a player and heading to Notre Dame. This is one that I'm pretty confident on. He'll commit to Notre Dame pretty quick, probably during the season. I'm pretty confident in this one.
All right.
What about you? Buy or sell?
Yeah, I'm buying here. I think he's a typical Notre Dame kid. I think he's a lot better than what he's ranked right now. I think he's a top 50 quality player. I'm not too sure how you think, but yeah, I think he's going to eventually end up in Notre Dame's class for sure. All right, next up. The next recruit we've got on tap for you is the local product. Top of the board cornerback target, Mark Zachary out of Indianapolis. So basically in Notre Dame's backyard. Now, according to everything I've said or I've read, Ohio State is the main team that's a real threat here for Mark Zachary's commitment. How are we feeling, Sean? Buying or selling?
Buy. Indiana product. I mean, this is a sure get as Tay Johnson. That's what I'm going to say. We're going to land him. He's going to be a great defensive back added to it. Both will be great defensive backs added to our class.
It doesn't scare you a little bit seeing Ohio State as the team that's
not when he's from Indianapolis, Indiana. You know, seeing all these Indiana teams in his top 4, and then you got Ohio State, yes, but when there's like 3 Indiana teams, I mean, come on, he wants to stay home, right?
Yeah. I like this pickup a lot. I'm buying it too. Although in recent history, outside of Tay Johnson, Ohio State has been killing Notre Dame in terms of in-state recruiting in the state of Indiana. So we'll see how that plays out. But, yeah, I'm kind of with you here. I think the sense is that he stays home and plays for Notre Dame. Next up, we got on tap for you is Owen Strebig, another elite prospect in the class of 2025. Top of the board offensive line target. It seems like anytime we hear this kid's name, it's always something to do with Notre Dame. Are you buying or selling, Sean?
I'm selling. I want to buy, but this reminds me of the Billy Scrouth recruitment. How I feel like this is going to be like, oh, Notre Dame leads, oh, Wisconsin leads, oh, Notre Dame leads, and how is Notre Dame at the last second for Billy? Him being from Wisconsin, very similar situation. It's hard to beat out Wisconsin in Wisconsin for some of these linemen. We can't do it every time, so I'm going to sell this one. But okay. I do think we could land him, obviously. But I mean, right now I'm going to say sell.
I'm going to buy just because as of right now, Notre Dame is he's visited the most out of any school. Mm-hmm. Anytime he talks about Notre Dame, it's glowingly. So I think he's going to end up being in the Irish's class. I know, like you said, it's hard for Wisconsin, to take kids away from Wisconsin in Wisconsin. But hey, we still got Billy Scrouth, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah, it works out sometimes.
Surprised he didn't win the starting guard job, to be honest.
Yeah. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Next up, we got another prediction for 4-star safety according to Rivals, is unranked on On3 and the other platforms. 4-star safety Ethan Long out of Brunswick School in what is it? Yeah.
Is that Chris Long's kid?
No.
But everything I've read on him, buy. With how low of a star he is, he's got pretty good offers, right? Mm-hmm. Boston College, Ohio State, all of them good offers. So I'm going to say buy on this one. He's going to be developmental as a player, so maybe not buy as a player yet, but I think he could rise up the rankings, and right now I'll say buy in his commitment.
What I find kind of odd about this commitment, and we see this every year, I feel like, from this new coaching staff at Notre Dame, is we see guys like this who are very underranked, who Notre Dame loves. From all accounts, Ethan Long is the second safety on the board for Notre Dame, behind Ivan Taylor.
And they could land both.
Which I think is insane. But I think the coaching staff knows something that maybe we don't. I've read that he's a very rangy, long, athletic, lengthy safety, kind of that Kyle Hamilton type. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm buying too. I'm buying this as well. And I like Ethan Long a lot personally. Next up, another offensive lineman, Matty Augustine out of Brunswick School in Greenwich, Connecticut. Buying or selling, Sean?
Another Connecticut kid, back to back. I'm going to buy this one. Offensive lineman, Midwest-ish. He's a kid that cares about academics. As you can see, Connecticut and Vanderbilt on there. Notre Dame's top notch right there. I don't see Notre Dame losing this battle.
Yeah, I don't either. I think if Notre Dame wants Matty, which in all accounts seems they do, I'm buying it as well because I think he's an Irish lock at this point. I think he's one of those kids where it's not if it's going to be Notre Dame, it's when he commits to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I'm definitely buying that as well. And then finally, our last prediction in the last 48 hours, a guy we talked about a couple shows ago, 4-star running back out of Bryant, Arkansas, Daniel Anderson. Are you buying or selling that this guy will be Notre Dame's second and final running back in the class of 2025?
I'm going to end up my wife just said that Connecticut's East Coast, not Midwest, so I feel stupid. I'm going to buy. We're going to round out our running back class, have him in the Terminator. I wouldn't be surprised if I might say sell or buy. It just depends on if Notre Dame wants him, if they can feel like they can get a better target or a complement to the Terminator. So I think that he wants to be at Notre Dame is when Notre Dame is going to take him in the class.
Yeah, that's kind of the sense I've got to. I'm going to buy, but I would not be surprised if Notre Dame down the line found another running back recruit that is higher rated or a guy that they just love more. We do have a year and a half actually until these kids sign on National Signing Day. So a lot could happen, but I am buying this, and I'm a lot higher on Daniel Anderson than a lot of people are. He camped actually recently for Notre Dame, and had an outstanding camp. So I'm very high on Daniel Anderson, but
Very
anyway,
talented.
he's very talented.
I mean, if we land all these or even some of these, our 2025 class is off to a good start. It will be. After the 2023 class, I was thinking 2024 would be better than 2023. I don't know yet if it's going to be. The 2023 was so special, and we didn't land some big recruits. So I don't know if this one will be 2025 will be better than 2024, but we'll just find out. Maybe it'll be better on the defensive side of the ball, like 23. Pattern here. 23 was better than the offense. 24 was better than the defense. 23 is better than the offense, or 25 is better than the offense. So maybe they have a system of how they want to recruit on that aspect.
Yeah, and for sure. And I mean, this time last year, what was it? We had insider predictions to get Jeremiah McClellan, Ryan Wingo,
don't forget
Mylan Graham. Let's
safety who committed Peyton Woodyard.
Peyton Woodyard. Let's not talk about crystal balls or predictions at this point, because I remember when we were all excited about getting all those predictions for everyone last year, and I don't think we didn't get one of those guys. So things can definitely change. Now we'll get into the main part of our show today. The depth chart was released for Notre Dame Navy in Dublin, Ireland. I don't know if you could see that very well.
You're going to have to zoom in a little bit. Hit Control ++++++++.
Let me see.
Hold
on.
But there we go. It's zooming in. Yep. Oh, zoom out. Zoom back in.
Zoom back out.
No, you zoomed out. You zoomed way out. I can't even see it at all.
Yeah, that's zooming in. So weird. Let's see.
All right. It is what it is.
Anyway.
Yeah. So no surprise to everybody. Sam Hartman is the starting quarterback, with Steve Angeli being the second string. Not surprised. Everyone was hoping Munchie would end up being second, but I've heard nothing but great things about Stephen Camp. Not surprised. Very happy with how quarterbacks shaped out. Running backs was extremely interesting because it was Audric Estime and then everybody else. And it wasn't just like second, third, fourth string. It was Jabron Payne or Jeremiah Love or Jadarian Price or Devin Ford. Like they're planning to play all of them. And maybe it's just they haven't found or decided who would best complement him right now. So they're still opening the challenge of the position of running back heading into the season. Maybe we just need to see more of Love, Price. But that was extremely interesting to me. I think the two biggest things that stood out to me were this. The starting guards. I mean, it was Kristofic and Shrouth for the longest time. In camp, for the longest time heading into the season, it looked like Kristofic was guaranteed to start. Shrouth, we had Billy. We heard nothing but great things. And then all of a sudden, starting at guard is Rocco Splendor. I love Rocco. He's super talented. Not surprised he's starting. I am surprised who's starting on the opposite side of him. It's Ashton Craig, right? Yep, Ashton Craig. I didn't expect him to beat out Billy. I mean, we and you look at the recruiting rankings for both, even the development, it just felt like we heard so much about Shrouth. And then, all of a sudden, a few weeks before the season, we just heard nothing but great things about Ashton Craig. Shows great things about him as a guard. It's up for grabs. If he won the job, right?
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see how he plays. I wouldn't be surprised if they start alternating the linemen a bit, but that surprised me. And the amount of freshmen, right? Usually it's like, a lot of seniors, heavy hitters starting like always, like it is this year, and the backups are like the sophomore, juniors. These freshmen beat a lot of people out. Matt Salerno's not seen on that depth chart. There's a lot of linebackers, defensive ends, defensive linemen, or especially the linebacker, Osbury, Drake. I mean, they're just – I mean, the freshmen are going to get a lot of playing time this year. Christian Gray, right? So it's exciting to see like that they're going to bring in a lot of freshmen this year to get good playing time, developing them for next year when all these seniors leave.
Yeah, one thing I also thought was kind of odd about the depth chart was, we talked about Billy Shroud. Another guy that I thought was kind of odd to see was, a guy like Pat Coogan, who wasn't as highly touted coming out of high school as Billy Shroud was.
Oh, my God. I've been saying Ashton Craig. I said Ashton Craig. I meant Pat Coogan. I couldn't read the
No, you're good. Pat Coogan, I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like the right play to go would go start Billy Trout just because he has a higher ceiling and he's more talented.
I'm just going to say this. Who would have thought Joe Alt would be the best offensive lineman on Notre Dame right now? Nobody.
That's true.
Nobody. Over Fisher, over Rocco, nobody. So, maybe he could be the next Jarrett Patterson interior. Maybe he can be the next Zach Martin. I don't know. But it did surprise me a bit because it did feel like Billy had the higher ceiling, had the biggest hype surrounding camp, that he looked amazing and was looking like he was going to start. So don't be surprised if Billy ends up starting later this year. But that did surprise. Now my question is on this offensive line, what if there's an injury to, let's say, a tackle? Does Kristofic move to tackle? Do they move someone interior outside? Do they start with a freshman like Charles? What do you think?
That's a tough question. I don't know. What do you think?
Maybe they can move somebody, probably put Fisher at left tackle and then have someone like Kristofic at right tackle or something. Jarrett Patterson moved all throughout the offensive line. So I don't know. This offensive line situation is tricky this year. I'm still surprised to see it. Hopefully they look dominant. Like, I'm hoping it's not like a situation where, like on Jack Cohn's year, where they kind of struggled. So we'll see. I'm excited for Rocco. I'm super excited for him. I was nervous if he didn't win the job, he would transfer. He was such a big recruit for us. So it's about time he's going to get some good playing time.
Yeah, and I really don't have an issue with any of this that, we see on the screen right now, with the exception of the Pat Coogan. We'll see what Pat can do. But, would you really be surprised if we saw Billy take the field
No.
or take the starting job at some point this year?
I wouldn't at all. I'm not surprised. We'll start out. Look at I am surprised a little bit that let's see. I'm very excited about Chris Tyree in the slot. I actually kind of thought they'd put Cozy a bit in the slot. Or I know he's more of an outside receiver, but I thought there was no way they were going to take Cozy off the field. And I like Tyree in the slot. Him and Greathouse are going to get a lot of playing time. So,
how do you feel about the starting receivers being Jaden Thomas, Tobias Merriweather, and Chris Tyree?
It's better than last year's starting receivers, I'll tell you that. I'm very happy with it. Let the freshmen learn and develop. I like Tyree at the slot. I think he's been looking really good. There's no reason why we should question it until we start seeing him drop a shit ton of passes. So we'll see. I mean, he's got the speed to be a slot receiver. So
can we all agree that all respect to Matt Salerno, but if we see him play in a game that's not garbage time, I'm a little worried.
Yes, I'm okay with occasionally him coming in, but I would rather see someone like Rico Flores or even Braylon.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at the defense, see if there's any surprises there before we.
So Viper, we got Jordan Botello, Junior Tuahalamaka, and Joshua Burnham. Any kind of thoughts or questions about that?
No, expected.
Yeah.
Expected. Linebackers are expected. Cornerback, Cam Hart, Mickey, go to the other one.
Are you a little, because this, I'll say this, I wanted Jalen Sneed to get more playing time this year.
He better not. If he transferred that this year, I'd be frustrated because, you got 3 graduates. Did anybody really think Jalen Sneed was going to start this year? He's guaranteed to start next year, and he's going to get good playing time.
Well, think about it. If Prince Colley was still here, he wouldn't even be starting, which is frustrating, I'm sure. That's why he left.
But now this is their last year. Sneed has to know they're gone after this year. I'm getting good development, and I'll be back next year.
But what do you think about the cornerback position and the safeties?
Morrison, Gray, I'm surprised Lewis is a 3. I'm guessing he's isn't there a nickel area?
Yeah, nickel. Nickel cornerback's not an official position on the depth chart.
Okay, good. I see that right there. Harper and Lewis will hold down. Yeah, it's what I expected. Harper, Lewis as nickel, Morrison and Hart as the outside with Mickey and Christian Gray coming in. DJ Brown as the left safety. The other safety is Xavier Watts, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And then Ramon Henderson. I love that. I'm surprised. I'm not surprised. Nothing on the defense surprises me, to be honest. It's as expected. We expected Watts to start with Henderson coming in. We expected Brown to start being a graduate with Carter subbing in as depth, learning the system for next year. Thomas Harper being nickel. We all expected that.
I really want to see Antonio Carter. He's been so exciting throughout fall camp.
We'll see him play, but
I know
it's more of a developmental year before next year, and he'll play some subbing in. But DJ Brown, he's improved a lot. He deserves it.
Yeah, I just think Antonio Carter's a stud, man. I think whenever he gets the starting job.
I did see that. Why Watts looked like he's the best safety in fall camp. There's still an or listed.
Yeah,
that is surprising. It should seem like Watts is. Now, question, if Watts stayed at receiver, would he start? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I'm glad that he stayed at safety, it seems like.
From what we've seen, he had, 4 dropped interceptions last year? And, that's why you play corner or safety. Real quick, I wanted to ask you, because I thought this was kind of interesting. If at quarterback 3, obviously we got Jaden Mickey and Christian Gray. I've seen this as a big argument on Notre Dame Twitter. Who do you start? Or not start, but who would you put in after Benjamin Morrison and Cam Hart? Do you put in Mickey or do you put Gray?
Jaden Mickey. There should be no argument whatsoever. Mickey's been in the system. He was good as a freshman last year. He shined at moments and he struggled at moments, but he's definitely the 3rd cornerback. No doubt, the 3rd cornerback. There should be no argument. Christian Gray is going to be great and he'll have good playing time next year too. And he looks great, but he's going to be developed this year. Mickey looks good. Why is there even question right now?
For whatever reason, on Notre Dame Twitter, there is massive Jaden Mickey hate. And people want Christian Gray to play. And I'm like,
I also love Clarence Lewis. I get that he struggles at times, but he came in unexpected and he's a really good player.
People forget Clarence Lewis started a playoff game as a true freshman.
Oh, and I don't get the hate for JD Birchman. I like JD Birchman.
I don't get that either.
Everyone hates him. I get it. Sometimes he's a little slow off the tackle, but he's a solid player, solid leader. I don't get the hate.
It's people hated Drew Tranquill. Like I don't know if you ever seen that, but JD Bertrand reminds me of a smaller Drew Tranquill.
Yeah.
Didn't have the best physical gifts, but was always smart, in position, and made the right play.
I can agree.
And look what Drew Tranquill's doing. He's a starter on an NFL defense.
Yep. Chargers.
So,
but I think we should end it on score predictions.
well, really quick, I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
We'll do that too, but name one X factor for the offense and the defense. Not one guy that is expected to be good, but you think has to be good for Notre Dame to beat Navy in Dublin.
So someone that's not expected to be good?
Well, not someone like the best players on the team, like Sam Hartman. You know what I mean? Like, not like that, but like a guy that you think has to perform at a high level, or
on offense and defense?
On offense and one X factor on offense and defense.
Defense, Jaden Mickey. Okay. Actually, I'm going to go with Riley Mills. I need to see improvement from the defensive line, and he's a big part of that. So Riley Mills. Offense, I'm going to go with I was going to say Sam Hartman, but yeah. I mean, offensive line, I guess I'll go Pat Coogan.
Yeah, see, you kind of stole one of mine. I was going to go Riley Mills. I'll go Jason Anye.
Good.
I like that pick a lot. On the offensive line, I want to see Zeke Correll. I want him to take his like talent level to a different, because people forget, outside of Blake Fisher, Zeke Correll was a higher rated recruit than Joe Alt was. Yeah, and we've been waiting for Zeke Correll to take that next step since he's been at Notre Dame, and he just hasn't yet.
He's played a lot too, from a freshman, sophomore, junior. He's had a lot of playing time, and he just hasn't taken the next step.
So I want to see it, because in this game against Navy, if we were to talk about keys to the game, what is the biggest key when you're playing a team like Navy? You cannot let them control the game flow.
Yeah.
You have to dominate the line of scrimmage, and Notre Dame should, because it's a undersized offensive line and D line for Navy. And you cannot allow like my keys for the game when I would do in my article, stay away from third and shorts and 3 and outs. You cannot have those on defense or offense. You have to stay on schedule and keep Navy off schedule. So I think that, offense and defensive line is key in this game. But overall, Sean, what is your score prediction for Notre Dame versus Navy?
Notre Dame 45, Navy 17.
You're a little generous there for giving Navy 17 points. I'm on the 56-10. Yeah.
I think 45 to 17. They're going to score. It's going to be an Ireland. They're going to score a little bit.
All right, Sean. Anyways, how do you feel? College football is finally back, man.
I'm ready. Are you?
I'm ready. Now let's just hope our boys go out to Dublin and come back home to the States 1-0.
We're going to do an episode of them being undefeated. Let's do it.
Yeah. Well, for sure. Anyway, Sean, another great episode as always. Thank you for everyone watching who has tuned in. I am your host, Ryan Favell. This has been the Gold Standard with my co-host, Sean, at Indy Forever on Twitter. Go follow us both on Twitter, at Favell_Ryan, at Indy Forever. And we will be back next week to break down Notre Dame Navy game and preview Notre Dame Tennessee State. And as always, have a good night, everyone, and go Irish.
Go Irish.